Fork, not this fork, but this one, is when you use a piece to attack two or more pieces, so your opponent has not enough time to save both. It usually happens with your knight checking and attacking a rook, but it can be done with all your pieces. This is a fork with a rook, this is a fork with a bishop, this is a fork with your queen, this is a fork with your pawn, and this is a fork with your king. A cool trick, you may think. But this is only one of the 15 tactics I'm going to give you in the next 8 minutes that will improve your chess ability to another level. Deflection. You force a piece to move away from where it was defending, usually with a sacrifice. Once it's deflected, the square or piece that was protecting is wide open. In this position, the king is guarding the rook, but we can deflect it with a check from the bishop. This forces the king to move, and then we capture the now undefended rook, winning material. Discovered attack. This is when you move one piece and suddenly another piece behind it is unleashed for an attack. Like opening the curtains and realising there's a sniper waiting. If the discovered attack is a check, it becomes even more dangerous. In this example, you can see that the rook could check the king, but your bishop is in the way. Once you move the bishop, you create a discovered attack, and then you can deliver checkmate with queen to h7. Pin. A pin is when one piece is stuck, because if it moves, a more valuable piece behind it will be captured. There are two types. An absolute pin, where the king is behind, so the piece literally cannot move. And a relative pin, where a valuable piece like the queen is behind, so technically it can move, but it's almost always a bad idea. In this game, you can see how the opponent's king and queen are on the same diagonal. White takes advantage by pinning the queen with the bishop, making it impossible to move, and later captures it. Overloading. A piece that has too many jobs to do. It's defending multiple threats, and when you add just one more, it collapses. Overloaded pieces are like overworked employees. Something will break. For example, we can see a pawn defending both a bishop and a knight, which means it's overloaded. After we attack the knight, the pawn can't protect everything, and the bishop is left hanging. Interference. Moving a piece between two opponent pieces to leave one or both opponent pieces undefended. It's like cutting off the Wi-Fi signal between them. In this example, the rook is under attack from white's queen, but it's defended when white plays pawn to b4. It interferes with the defence, attacking the defender and winning the rook. Windmill. This is a combination of a discovered check and repeated captures. The rook or bishop keeps checking while the other piece captures again and again. It's like a rotating blade, slowly cutting down your opponent's army. In this position, we can see that if we take the pawn on g6, we could achieve a windmill. So after the brilliant sacrifice of our queen, we achieve our goal, and we keep checking and capturing black's army until we end up with almost all his pieces, even the queen. Perpetual checks. There are some ways to draw in chess, like the 50-move rule or stalemate. But one way you might not know is perpetual checks. This tactic is used to keep checking the king until the opponent is forced to draw. It's normally used when you're in a losing position and want to force a draw. For example, we can see in this position that after black sacrifices his queen, he can achieve infinite checks with his knight and rook, making a draw from a losing position. Skewer. Think of it as the reverse of a pin. You attack a more valuable piece in front, and when it moves away, you capture the less valuable piece behind it. This tactic is quite common with promoted pawns in endgames. In this example, white sees a way to push black's king onto the same line as his queen, and after shortly sacrificing their own queen, they gain it back and end up a rook ahead in material. Decoy. Imagine having a powerful magnet. You can force any object to attract or move at your command. In chess, you can use a tactic known as a decoy. A decoy is a move that forces a piece to a square it does not want to move to, resulting in a powerful attack such as winning a piece or checkmating your opponent. Let's see an example. In this position, white could play queen h7, but then black's king on g8 escapes to the f8 square. If only black's king were on h8, then qh7 would be mate. Trapping a piece. Sometimes the strongest piece becomes useless if it has nowhere to go. Trapping the queen, for example, is one of the most satisfying feelings in chess. You just have to watch for a piece with not many places to go, and try to take the little space it still has. In this game, we can see how the white queen has found herself in a rather bad position, and after black attacks her with his knight, the queen is forced to capture the defended knights to reduce her material loss. Double check! Even scarier than one check is two checks at the same time. In a double check, both pieces are attacking the king, and the only option is to move the king. No blocking, no capturing, just run. In this example, after the knight checks, you might think it would be captured, but the queen is also checking. So at the same time, black can't cover with the pawn. His only option is to run straight into checkmate. Zugzwang, German for compulsion to move. It's when every move your opponent can make makes their position worse. Sometimes it's better not to move, but in chess you can't pass your turn. For example, in this ending, we can see that any move by black loses. So after white wastes a tempo, black is forced to move away from his pawn, clearing the path for white's coronation. Under promotion, here, instead of promoting a pawn to a queen, you promote it to a knight, rook or bishop, usually to deliver checkmate or avoid stalemate. There are plenty of examples. For instance, if we promote to a queen, we would end up in stalemate, but by promoting to a rook, we can win the game. Or in another case, we can win by promoting to a knight and forking the queen. Mate patterns. These are recurring setups where the king is trapped and cannot escape. Back rank mate, smothered mate, and scholar's mate are just a few. In fact, the simplest and best way to increase your elo is just to memorise these patterns, because it will help you recognise them when they appear in a game. Learning these patterns makes it much easier to spot winning moves, but this is too large a topic to cover in just 30 seconds, so if I see that this video gets a lot of likes, I'll make every mate in chess in 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, this is Chimpawn Chess.